Hi, Sam Bowden here from the Accelerate Business Academy. Hey, what's your best marketing tool? When I ask this at conferences and events and people we work with, and normally the response is the same, it's probably the same for you, it's word of mouth. And so what I want to talk about today is how do you massively drive word of mouth? And here's what's fascinating. It's a pretty simple solution. Give them an extraordinary experience. Now, how do you measure an extraordinary experience? Well, I like to ask 1 to 10 questions. So whenever I'm asking someone like, what's a restaurant like? And they go, it's pretty good. And I go, now give me a 1 to 10. And in human psychology, 1 to 10, when they're using this in a measuring scale, 7 is, it was okay, but I don't know, I'm looking elsewhere. Or they do one thing wrong, I'm going elsewhere. 8 was, I'm satisfied, I got what I wanted. You know, it's kind of what I expected. 9 was, it's above expectation. So, well, you know, it was really good, like really good. 10 out of 10 is I got way more than I was experiencing. And yeah, I'm never going anywhere else and I'm going to refer people. So think about this. That might have happened to you at a coffee shop, or it might have been a restaurant, or it might have been a particular food that you ate or something. But our brain is constantly looking for and we're sort of ranking, going, oh, what do we think about this experience? Now, I recently did a survey, and one of the questions I asked, and it's quite a large number of practices responded, I said, 1 to 10, what do you reckon your level of client experience is? And here was the average, 8.06. So if we think about that, the average practice says, my clients were satisfied. Now I'm going to give you a stat that'll shock you. This comes from a company called Security. They did over 75,000, researched the data from 75,000 telephone-based interviews, not surveys, they were interviews of clients of businesses. And here's what they found. If a client says they had a 10 out of 10 experience, guess what percent of them would actively refer someone to you? It was 63% of people would actively refer someone to that business. Guess what an 8 out of 10, if someone ranked their experience at the business as an 8 out of 10, guess what the likelihood or the percentage of them that actively referred someone? It was 11%. So the difference between an 8 out of 10 experience that they're having and a 10 out of 10 experience it's a quantum difference. I mean, you're going to get 6 times more marketing of your best tool in marketing right now, which is word of mouth. So how do you create a 10 out of 10 experience? Well, it's actually a process. It's like building a car that's a 10 out of 10, is you need to break it in components of everything happens in the business and then figure out how do you make that a 10 out of 10. And of course, when you think it's a 10 out of 10, we would say, who cares what you think? What do your clients think? So the second part of it is actually getting feedback from clients and getting them interviewed to ask what was their experience, 1 to 10. And the best way to do this is actually on a telephone and asking questions, as opposed to an online sort of, survey they click and give feedback that way. That's better than nothing, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to give the same amount of data as a telephone interview, which is something that we do actively if we're working with a business. Anyway, I just wanted to shoot this little video and give you that little bit of information so you can have a look and think in your team, wow, or in your business, wow, what's our client experience, 1 to 10? What percentage of our clients would give us a 10 out of 10? How can we get more of our clients to have an experience that's 10 out of 10? And I'll leave you with this last thought. It's a never-ending process, isn't it? Because you think there's something called the law of familiarity. When you get used to something, it's no longer so wow. So it might have been when you first got your car and you're like, wow, I love this car. Anyway, it gets a few dings in and the scratches and, 12 months, 2 years down the track, it's just a car. It doesn't have that wow factor. Well, that same thing happens with service. You get used to a certain level of service. So a 10 out of 10 this year becomes a 9 out of 10 next year. Why? Just because you're used to it and the brain's looking for variety. So, if you're thinking about how to drive more clients to your business and your top quality clients, I can tell you one of the most powerful techniques is to develop a 10 out of 10 or nothing philosophy within your business. And hey, look, if you're interested, that's what we help businesses do. Anyway, hope you're having a cracking week. Until next time, 10 out of 10 or nothing. Cheers.